The country Kenya will regret editing or squashing the conflict of interest bill. How comes, or what a bad coincidence, that just for the last 2 years that William Ruto has been the president, the Weston hotel that is owned by the president's family has bagged more hospitality contracts than any other hotel in the country. And in fact, several hotels are doing badly, while an hotel linked to the first family is technically enjoying some monopolistic powers. I will take you through the chronology of events, how we have arrived at that, or how that has been exposed to the country. Then we can interpret politically what this means. Last year, the former Treasury CS Njuguna Ndung'u and by then acting central bank governor, or the new central bank governor Kamau Thuge, wrote a letter of intent to IMF, and this was regarding a facility that IMF was supposed to extend to the country. IMF has a loan facility known as Extended Loan Facility, ELF. Extended Fund Facility, that is it. And when Treasury they wrote intent requesting. But amongst some of conditions that IMF put, raised issues was on the conflict of interest. And they said that a legal framework need to be enacted on the conflict of interest, and this was centered on government doing business with itself. High-level officials were supposed to file information regarding disclosure of interest, including financial, contractual, and corporate and assets beneficially owned. So every government official is supposed to do that. And so it should not be a secret if an MP, a governor, a deputy governor, and so on, so owns a hotel or an asset or gets a contract, and his company gets a contract, it should not be a secret. Now that bill was crafted, and the bill said that Kenyan officials would also require online publication of declaration of assets, including beneficially owned, conflict of interest, except confidential data for personal and family safety and privacy, and especially for privacy regions such as account numbers and personal identification numbers. But indeed, the publishing of public procurement information was part of structural benchmarks in the ongoing extended fund facility and extended credit facility. Yesterday, when I was, I think the day before yesterday, when I was analyzing the IMF, I said IMF has two facilities. These are loan facilities. The first facility is known as EFF, Extended Fund Facility. And the other facility is known as ECF, Extended Credit Facility. All these facilities are supposed to support overall budget estimates by the host country as they try to implement their economic recovery fiscal measures. Now, so IMF demanded kwamba you must put public procurement information. Kenya was initially expected to start publishing beneficial ownership of ownership information or details related to identity of individuals with a stake of more than 25% at the end of June 2021. However, this was delayed. That was supposed to be June 2021. But this was delayed with the government explaining that it did not yet have right legal framework to reveal such data. And that is why a legislation was enacted. Now, Weston Hotel, that is belonging to the President of Republic of Kenya, who is the first director. The wife Rachel Ruto is the other director, and the daughter, the daughter, who I've forgotten the daughter, the name of the daughter. Sijui anaitwaje director, anaitwaje? The daughter to the president anaitwa? We've forgotten, all of us. Charlene Ruto. Now, Charlene Ruto are also part of the directors of Weston Hotel. Information that is being published here, I want us to quote it verbatim. Ruto's Weston Hotel bags most state hospitality tenders. And this is what they're saying. A significant number of real estate government deals that Weston Hotel has won came after Dr. Ruto became the president. The hotel, which is located on Nairobi's Langata Road, has so far linked to disclosures of 37 tenders to supply various state corporations, agencies, and counties with services valued at 57.9 million. This is more than any other similar facility in Nairobi offering hotel and conference services, according to the official findings available at the moment. The portal shows that only 6 contracts valued at 1 million that the hotel won from state-linked entities before 2022 September. Before 2022 September, that hotel only had probably only 6 tenders valued at around, I think they're saying around 1 million. But after 2022, it is now bagging most deals. That hotel won, and the disclosures are however not complete, as some of the suppliers and procuring entities are yet to update their details in the portal as required. Further details now needed for the publicly available filings include a list of shareholders and directors. A big chunk of money that Weston Hotel received came from ICT Authority, which paid 43.2 million for provision of catering services during the month-long Connected Africa Summit that ran between April to May. Then that summit was being held in Uhuru Gardens. The president also previously confessed on owning that Weston has so far won far more contracts than any other hotel in Nairobi, with only Fairview coming close with 15 contracts. Mombasa Road-based Hilton Garden, which is loved by MPs for the committees, is yet disclosed. One of the frequent customers for Weston Hotel is Machakos County Assembly. I still don't understand why MCS or the County Assembly of Machakos will frequent Weston Hotel in Nairobi while there are more hotels on the other side of Machakos, including Manzoni. I've seen once in a while the ODM, the Azimio team, converging in Manzoni Hotel, the other side of Athi River. So maybe I may not be able to understand. Other state corporations that procured the services of Weston Hotel include Kenya Medical Research, KEMRI, which has 11 contracts, and then Kenya Investment Authority with 3 contracts. Most of these businesses were done by Dr. Ruto after Dr. Ruto became president. Also disclosed not yet is the areas frequented by members of parliament. Let me tell you, the conflict of interest bill, if Kenya Kwanza is committed on fighting corruption, then they must make sure that the alterations that were done by the Senate in the conflict of interest bill are actually squashed. Because the cabinet approved a conflict of interest bill 2023 with radical sanctions to discourage public officials from doing business with government to amass wealth, a corrupt practice that has minted overnight millionaires from officers whose salaries do not match their extravagant lifestyles. Okay. However, senators watered down the bill by quashing provisions that prohibited government officers from seeking tenders with public entities and others that required regular declaration of wealth, including their spouses and their children. The spokesperson, Hussein Mohammed, asked about this, is yet to respond. That is the story. Here ndio sasa iko. I want to be fair to the president here. I know, ete kama wewe ni Ruto and you are in a position you can influence your business to thrive through these tenders, it can be, and it is a normal tradition that when someone is in power, when someone is in a position of influence, you can easily influence on your favor. However, the conflict of interest bill should actually ensure that private sector, the wealth is, the wealth is decentralized. The president is already having salary and is making all manner of money across government, and is still going to collect salaries, rather profits from Weston Hotel. There are good benefits of making sure that government doesn't do business with itself. There's so many, and I wish we become so intentional as a country. We become so intentional and objective on making sure that government stops doing business with itself. Of course, Western Hotel was one of the hotels that was even facing demolition. But doesn't it look selfish? Yes. Doesn't it look selfish? And the reason why, number one reason why the government should just keep off tendering within itself, giving tenders to itself here is this. Give me an example. You walk to a tendering committee, and while you are queuing for it, you meet Rachel Ruto as one of the directors of Weston Hotel that is also seeking a tender. Or you are a member of a tendering committee in government office, probably in, let's say you're a member of a tendering committee in that ICT authority. Then you're seeing an application from President's Hotel. Do you have the audacity even to check merit? Do you have the audacity to turn it down? You may not, because you don't know what might befall you. Probably the next day, you might not be in that office. And I believe, guys, maybe let's just have this. I believe if there is a tender that any Kenyan is competing with a hotel or a business associated with the president, that tender is not competitive. No. That tender is not competitive because of the political power. You don't know. You cannot say, I'm giving it to this. Maybe it's something that maybe that company cannot offer. But you have to give it because of the president. So we squash competitiveness in the tendering process. And that competitiveness, we are likely to create monopoly. Monopoly markets are very dangerous for any sector. For the hospitality industry to thrive, there should be no monopoly. But with these favors, I'm telling you, if this is them getting all the tenders, then they could be getting many of the favors, including even tax evasion. And that is going to kill the hospitality industry. I may be wrong on this. This is likely to kill hospitality industry. Then the second thing that I think the country must pay attention to, and if William Ruto wants and is so intentional about fighting corruption, you avoid government doing business with itself, because if the president hotel is leading, and this is just hotel, How about other construction companies that the president might have? How about someone was giving me some grapevine that unaona hizi affordable housing zote zenye zinajengwa, there's only one company that is supplying cement. And I think that was from Homa Bay. Someone was speaking from Homa Bay that the cement used in Homa Bay, there is rice cement around that place. There is rice cement around, there is Simba cement around on your way between, I think that is between Salga and Kisumu, Salga and Nakuru. Around Salga there is some Simba cement. In Kisumu there is rice cement. But the cement being used in affordable housing in Homa Bay is coming from somewhere else, far end of Mombasa. So look at that transport. And now what am I saying? That it's a conduit of corruption. And when it starts by the president up there, kila mtu hapa chini atafuata hiyo njia. And the president might not be able to arrest it. If corruption, this is entertaining corruption at the highest office in the land. And if the highest office is an arbiter of corruption, because if they give you a quotation, do you even question? Do you even compare? You know, I give this question, this is the amount. When umeka unaona, for example, you're an NGO and you're feeling like, oh, I think if I go to Hotel X, I might get, if I get to Movenpick, I can get better rates. If I go somewhere else, I can get better rates. But you don't have the liberty of thinking of better rates because there is already a dominance by that company. So it's a conduit of pilferage. And I think the president must really ensure that this is not taken. The other thing is compromise of service. And this is not to mean that probably the services that the Western trader has been offering are substandard. No. I'm speaking in the context of conflict of interest. That one of Weston is just an example. But there are so many, there's so many governors giving tenders to their companies that belong to their children and their spouses and their girlfriends and there. It's been going on. Obado was in court at one point with all his wives and children over a corruption case. But there is a problem of when it is not competitive, it's not given on merit. And then it's given on relationship between A and B. That person is not under any obligation to do the best. If it is competitive, you'll get the best because I only get it on merit. If tenders are not being given on merit, I can tell you we still have substandard and still have service delivery. In fact, look at what's been happening in KEMSA. If we are not intentional about conflict of interest bill, it doesn't matter how many conditions IMF will give to Kenya for them to give us loan facilities. But I think there should be more. Here, it is the IMF that can help us. Otherwise, I don't think this is it. And in fact, if president's company is leading in doing business with government, then we are headed in the wrong direction as a country. Thank you.